Okay, we're back, everybody. We are doing a quick wrap up of the 2020 Mr. Olympia finals, and we're all blown away, except for me. Actually, I'm not blown away. I knew Rami was going to win from. Well, it's actually like by default. Every single year, I think Rami's going to win, and then now it's finally come true. So, what did you guys think, man? Do you guys think it was a warranted win? What do you think about Rami finally winning? Let's start with you, James.
Absolutely warranted. We made this, especially after prejudging, we kind of all came to the, assumption that he was losing the least shots. He was winning most, to be fair. And I think even by then we were like, unless something drastically changes overnight, then he's in the front. Yeah. And, he came back tonight and he looked pretty much the same. He held his condition, held his fullness. Everything was on point like yesterday. And they rightly rewarded him for what he's done. He's brought what we all knew he could bring. It's taken a few years, but the victory's going to taste sweet because of it. So yeah. I'm extremely happy. I know you are. So yeah, very much warranted win.
What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I'm as much as I'm upset about losing my hair now. He did deserve the win, no question about it. I was looking for something to, for Phil or Brandon to pull something out that I could, be like, see, they are going to beat him, but it didn't happen. But I said it earlier. I just want to say it again. Like I feel like Hottie got overlooked day one. And,
well, we'll get to Hottie though.
Okay, sorry. Okay, then yeah, Rami deserved the win, no question about it.
Okay, but let's where do you guys think? Because there's going to be people that think he shouldn't have won. So where do you guys think he won? Like, what do you think? Like for me, when I look at the physique, me and Paul were talking about it during the live stream, and we said that you kind of have to go shot for shot when it's really close. And I think Rami, for me, where he pulled it out was the only poses I had him losing were maybe the back double and maybe the back lat spread. But I thought he was winning all the other shots.
Yeah, but then even with that, like we said, even though he wasn't winning those shots, he wasn't losing it to everybody in that first group.
That's true. Yeah.
So even though they weren't his strongest shots, they were still not at the bottom of the table. Yeah. And then another thing on top of that is if you look at how good his condition was in his show, he was in good enough condition to stand next to anybody at the show as well, which is something we haven't seen before. So he kind of ticked two boxes there. I think that, like you say, if you just broke it down as simple as it is, shot for shot, he won the majority. And when you win the majority, rightly so, you win the show, to be honest.
Where do you think his strongest suit was, Paul? What do you think kind of put him over the top?
From the front, from the side. His side shots were crazy. Yeah. His legs, man, like those. I like to put a tape measure to those quads. Yeah. Those have got to be the biggest legs that this sport has ever seen.
I think Dennis says they're 36 inches or something like that each.
Really?
Well, obviously each. Yeah.
There's no way. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So after that, we got Brandon. Okay. So to me, and we said this in our original live stream, the feel good story of the night would have been Rami finally capturing the title. Someone feels good, somebody's going to feel bad. So Brandon now walks away as a one-time Mr. Olympia winner. Does Brandon regain his title ever, or do we think that's it for Brandon?
I think times in bodybuilding have changed at the minute. I don't think we're going to see a consecutive winner for a while. So I think it's worth someone like Brandon still trying to come back for a win.
Yeah.
Because I just think we haven't got a candidate who's strong enough to be guaranteed to be the winner. We haven't got another Phil Heath in his prime, and we haven't got another Ronnie in his prime yet.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's worth everybody coming back.
Yeah, I would give you that. Yeah. I mean, what do you think, Paul?
I think if Brandon could bring his legs up and come back in the same condition next year with bigger legs, I think he can push Rami.
Yeah, I think I agree with that as well. So the probably the roughest night of the night went to Phil, because Phil, obviously being a 7-time Mr. Olympia winner, expected to be able to reclaim his title, and to slip not from second, but all the way to third, probably had to be disappointing for him, even though, like we've said, third place in Olympia is amazing, but not when you've been a 7-time Mr. Olympia. So where does Phil go from here? Is he wrap it up, or is he trying to make a new way for himself, Paul?
Sorry.
If it was me, Phil's got a lot going on, business wise, and that I would hang it up. I would be done with bodybuilding at this point.
What do you think, James?
I don't think he can fix what is necessary for him to win this show.
Yeah.
But he is a 7-time Mr. Olympia champion who's never won an Arnold. And I could dangle that carrot out there where I'm like, why don't you just go and do one Arnold and see if you can just at least scrape one of those wins and then call it a day. Like, if I was to do anything, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I could see that.
If I was to do anything.
If you were going to do something, I would think that too. But I kind of feel like as a 7-time Mr. Olympia winner, it's kind of all downhill unless you can reclaim the Olympia title again.
Oh, of course. I'm just thinking about, instead of stepping down, step sideways.
Yeah, I feel though.
But it depends how you look at it. Like you say, you feel like, it's a step down anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it, just because it's 7 times, right? Like if he had won the Olympia once and then went and did an Arnold, like if Brandon goes and does the Arnold, that's normal. Like I don't see any issue. But as a 7-time, I think your legacy, your dynasty is all that matters, right?
7-time is a lot of clout, and then you're going into a show that you could possibly, if you lose that show, the smaller.
Yeah, there's more to lose. There'd be more to lose, I think.
Then yeah, I think it's time to just say, you know what, enough's enough, and let's follow some other endeavors.
But I agree with what you said originally, James, which is the problem he's having is not a condition issue, it's not a muscularity issue. His stomach, I don't know if he can change that or fix it.
I don't think he can.
Yeah, and that's I think the main problem that we've seen today.
Yeah.
After that, we had Hadi, which Paul you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You think got overlooked. I think a lot of people felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he had more comparisons tonight, and better comparisons tonight than last night. I personally had him in second place tonight, but I wonder if yesterday's score is what played a factor in it.
Yeah, that's what I think happened. Whatever they had the scores at yesterday, and then obviously today they moved them up, but it wasn't enough points. He didn't gain enough points to put him in that top 3 there.
Yeah,
but I do think he deserved to be, though.
I wonder yesterday if they had him in 5th behind Bonac.
I think for a little while they did,
and that because you know what I mean. For a little while, I think they did, and I think maybe he moved up tonight to 4th.
Yeah, because we talked about it before we started tonight. Remember they moved him out of the top 5 lineup briefly yesterday, and then they put him back in at the end. So,
what do you think, James? Do you think Hadi deserves 2nd, or do you think like he only could move up?
Yeah, I think he could only make up so much ground, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But if Hadi looked how he looked today and had the comparisons he had yesterday as well, then he probably would have placed 2nd, which is unfortunate because I really do think he was more comparable to Ramy than say Phil. I think Phil and Brandon are very comparable to each other.
Yes.
But Ramy and Hadi had more comparison to each other. So it's a shame, but hopefully next year.
Do you think it's got to be a really motivating factor for Hadi knowing that he was probably in 2nd place tonight over some really good bodybuilders?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that? Do you think coming back next year he's going to be like, hey man, you know, I was as high as 2nd at one point. I can win this thing.
I think so. I think a coach who's as aware of how the system works as, like say, Hani, will give him that feedback and say, look, like don't lose steam because you didn't place 2nd, because for a moment there you were pushing, and they'll be able to take that. And I think that'll be more encouragement and more motivation over the off season coming back.
I think Bonac was the silent one of the night. Not a lot of people were talking about him.
He's done his thing, didn't he? Just came and done his thing.
Yeah, I don't think he made a lot of noise. I think he kind of deserved his placing.
Yeah.
Not much to say about Bonac really, except I feel like he gets overlooked because he's quiet.
He had a good year though. Let's be honest. He won an Arnold and then he got 4th for the Olympia. So maybe he's just satisfied.
I think
he didn't make sound coming in, did he?
I think what I'm saying is, like, when you think of Hadi, you think of this guy who's mysterious, who's coming from overseas, and everybody expects this kind of thing to pop up. Whereas Bonac's coming from overseas as well, but it seems like he comes in very quietly and doesn't make a big stink. So he kind of gets overlooked in the lineup.
Yeah. I think that's because he's been around longer, just because he's part of the furniture now.
Maybe, yeah.
Kind of is though, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't think of a top 5 at the Olympia now and Bonac's name not be just there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So then we move out into the kind of the next group, in my opinion, that was kind of being compared more was the highlight of the next group, which also isn't being talked about a lot, is Akeem is now broken into the top 6.
Yeah.
Do we know that for sure? Do we check the placings yet to see?
If you know what? You're right.
Assuming.
I'm only assuming. You're right. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's more for us knowing who's from 7th down.
Yeah.
But right now, I think we're pretty sure that was an Akeem Williams 6 finish.
Yeah.
Just because of callouts.
Is there somewhere we can see the final placings right now?
I think it'll take a day or two. Do you think it's come up already?
1 second. Ian just texted me.
I feel quite jealous. He texts you and not me.
Well, because I beat him in our bet. That's why.
Did you text him first?
No. James is trying to figure out why. He's like, why did he text me first?
How dare you? Because I didn't wear the Ian Valier top tonight. Damn.
Okay, anyway, we'll figure out the rest of the placings. It was an interesting show. Some of the other notes of they didn't. Okay, Ian just messaged back, so they didn't tell us.
They didn't tell. They didn't tell us. They didn't tell them who placed 6th through.
There should be a bit of paper backstage, surely.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, let's just some of the other notables. I think Akeem was probably 6th. I think Ian. I don't want to guess where everybody was. I think Ian was awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm going to wait till the rest of the places come out to discuss the rest of that. What I do want to discuss, though, quickly before we go is Classic. I thought Chris Bumstead looked amazing.
Yeah.
You guys probably agree that, he was the standalone winner of that show.
Yeah.
And then the biggest news, I think, of Classic was Terrence Ruffin moving up past Breon into 2nd place.
Yep.
Yeah, he done a great job.
Yeah, he did.
I think,
and I think he overtook him at the end.
Yeah, it happens when you allow Terrence to present himself. That's when he can move up.
Yeah, and it looked like he pulled it off the last second there. I think they had Breon in 2nd going into the last comparison there, and then they moved Terrence inside.
Prejudging was pretty much Chris versus Breon, wasn't it? And then
that was all the talk that I saw, at least online.
I think one of the highlights of the night for me is knowing that the Olympia is picking guys based on their physiques and not based on their names.
Absolutely, they're judging physiques.
I mean, James, for someone like you coming in next year,
brilliant. It makes me feel like there's no
nothing holding you back.
The politics.
Yeah, and there's no politics. It feels like you can go there. And honestly, if you genuinely go away and do a Sean Claridia.
No, don't say that.
and work and just bring a good physique and present yourself well, then there's no reason why you can't upset a lot of people.
Yeah, you get a fair shot.
Yeah, that's got to be really, it's got to be really motivating to know that they're, because I mean, think about it. 10 years ago, we would all been saying, "Oh, Phil's going to win again."
Who's coming second? That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And this is good for the sport. It's good for the fans to see that. It's good for the sport because of people, just like boxing for years. People like boxing's fixed, whatever. People stop watching. You can't have that. You got to maintain the integrity of the sport.
Yeah. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. It's late at night. I got pasta and ice cream to eat, and Paul's got to
meatballs and cookies.
Take some photos with his hair.
Oh,
because after today,
before he loses it,
at least give me tomorrow. It's my daughter's birthday tomorrow. At least give me tomorrow with nice hair. Then Monday we'll do it.
All right, Monday morning we're gonna do it. All right,
we'll do Monday night.
All right, gentlemen. James, thank you so much for staying up with us, man. I know it's like 4:30 in the morning there. I appreciate it.
See you, James. Good talking to
you.
We'll talk to you guys soon. All right.
Definitely.
I'll call you in the morning if I got to come back.
Okay, man. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and like the video. And if you get a chance, check out the description for all the different links to all the different places you can find Hostile and myself. And lastly, check out hostile.com for our new line of supplements and all of our apparel and gear. Thanks again for watching.